You're listening to the People's Podcast.
I'm not going to be responsible for what happens next.
This is JSC Radio.
But what we're going to go back to here is my reaction to the Lions completing last year's crash and burn, which saw them start 9-4, then lose their last 3 games to, legitimate competition, getting beat by the Giants, Cowboys, Packers, giving up the division and having to back into the playoffs thanks to Washington losing, only for them to then get into the set playoffs and get a gun shoved in their mouth by the Seattle Seahawks. This particular segment was from the very first episode of this year, episode 26, all the way back in January. But it's fitting that it is endured all the way to the end. That's what the Detroit Lions are to so many of us. From episode 26, where I cleaned out that damn litter box, here I am, giving the full postmortem of the Detroit Lions and their god-awful finish to what looked like a promising season.
And Lion fans, the fake tough guys that they tend to be at times, and trust me, I know, I deal with enough of them, because the Lions are happy, or should I say, the Lions and Lion fans are just happy to be there. That's what really disgusted me. This team was 9-4. They had a 2-game lead in division. They were sitting pretty. Essentially, if they got 1 win in 3 games, they win that division. They get a home playoff game for the first time in more than 2 decades. You win a division title for the first time in more than 2 decades. You have a puncher's chance of winning your first playoff game in a quarter century. Instead, they gag down the stretch, crash into the side of a mountain, and then have Aaron Rodgers doing the friggin' 2-step all over the 10-yard line before whipping a ball into the end zone for some dude named Geronimo. This is what the hell I deal with. This sort of thing happens. And mind you, it's not like 2011 when they made the playoffs, when they had been god-awful for more than a decade. That's the only year I gave them a mulligan for making the playoffs and getting beat, because they hadn't done it in 10 years. They'd been through all the Matt Millen years. They went through 0-16. They went through multiple 2-14 and 3-13 seasons. I let it slide in 2011 because of the situation. They've made the playoffs twice since. They got jobbed in Dallas a couple of years ago. And I'll give you a quick 1 second on the whole referee thing. They got jobbed in Dallas 2 years ago, and then they go to Seattle and get their ass kicked on Saturday. So understand this. Going from 9-4 and a potential 2 seed and a bye and a home playoff game in the divisional playoffs to 9-7 and getting your head caved in by the Seattle Seahawks, that's unacceptable. In a whole lot of other markets, Caldwell might be out of a job right now because of that, especially after what happened last year. 27-21. He's 6 over 500. He's a 500 coach since then. I'll take those 2 seasons at 500 as more of a barometer than one magical 11-5 year, where, by the way, they had the exact same result as they did this year. At one point in time in my life, Lion fans put Wayne Fontes' feet to the fire. Wayne Fontes went 12-4. The following year, they went 5-11, and they were calling for his damn head. After going 12-4 and winning a playoff game the year before, people were calling for his damn head. The Lions ripped off 3 straight winning seasons, a division title, and 3 straight playoff appearances. And after every single playoff loss, they were calling for Wayne Fontes' head. The Lions, mind you, who at that point were 40 years past or coming up on 40 years past their last championship. But now I got Lion fans looking at me sideways for daring to call this season a failure. Looking at me like I've got 2 heads for daring to say that I would have fired Jim Caldwell after tanking down the stretch. I got Lion fans telling me that I'm entitled for daring to demand that Jim Caldwell actually win something, that Matthew Stafford actually win a game against a team with a pulse in a big situation. How dare you demand they win a division championship? How dare you demand that Caldwell win a playoff game? They're 27-21 in the regular season. Isn't that good enough? They're 9-7. They made the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. Fonts got them there 4 out of 5 and actually got a playoff win. You can't argue playoff win over regular season. There are coaches with sub 500 records who have multiple playoff wins. There are quarterbacks who are god-awful that have multiple playoff victories. But I got to sit here and listen to Detroit Lion fans, and I'm talking about the new booty Lion fans, not the cats who are 35 and up. The youngster fans, the hipster fans, the millennials who seem to think they know every damn thing even though they haven't experienced a third of it. This millennial fan base who seems to have no issue with a franchise that puts up banners for making the playoffs, not winning a division title, not winning a conference title, making the playoffs. They need to just run a big yellow participation ribbon up into the Ford Field rafters. Lions fans, you pissed me off. You made me sick. Patting them on the back, getting behind their lazy, whiny ass, the referees were out to get us. Let me say something briefly about those referees. Look, do the referees make terrible calls in these games? You're damn right they do. For God's sake, you heard it earlier. Paul Richardson scores that touchdown. Just an amazing catch. His hand is down low, catching this pass with one hand, looking like an outfielder who got a late break on a ball and has to make the little scoop catch just before it hits the ground in the outfield. It was a hell of a catch. The reason why he's making the catch with his left hand is because his right hand is performing the crippler crossface on Nevin Lawson. Face masked, right in front of the damn referee. Clear face mask. Should have been offsetting penalties, and you replay that fourth down. And who's to say Seattle doesn't just turn right on back around and send Thomas Rawls right up the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown anyway? But, yeah, the refs got that wrong. That's not why the Lions lost the game. The referees aren't out to get you. The league isn't against Detroit trying to stop Detroit. What the hell you think this is? You think this is the NBA from 1991? The NBA in the early 90s didn't like the Pistons because they changed all the damn rules. The Pistons were not well liked in the NBA 12 years ago because they mastered defense and the NBA had to change up the rules again. That's a league being against you. You want to know what it looks like when the NFL is against a team? Go ask the New England Patriots. And, oh, well, look what we have here. The league basically tried to screw the Patriots 10 ways by Sunday. And what did they do? They kept winning. They suspended Tom Brady for 4 games over bullshit. Steelers got caught doing the exact same thing Brady did. Nobody said boo about it. Brady did it. They suspended him 4 games, chased him 2 years, damn near went to the U.S. Supreme Court. What happens when Brady comes back? The some bitch starts ripping off victories again. The league ain't out to get the Lions. Here, I'll make a compromise. The league ain't out to get the Detroit Lions. The league doesn't respect the Detroit Lions. And guess what? The Lions don't deserve respect. They haven't earned it. And that's another issue. This whole, it's Detroit versus everybody. The referees and everybody's out to get us, man. They're trying to hold us down. Shut up. Grow up. When did my city become so soft? When did the people in my city become such punks and expecting everything to be handed to them? For God's sake, the Lions tweeted out that stupid video saying it's not easy and we wouldn't want it any other way. Oh, I think you would, by the way. But when did my city become so soft and so damn sensitive? The referees are going to make terrible calls. Guess what? The good teams overcome the terrible calls. The good teams don't let a terrible call completely submarine everything they're doing. The Lions get a call or two against them and they start to sulking and acting like the babies they are because they didn't get their way and they feel the world's out to get them. I sat here last year and watched my alma mater, Michigan State University, lose a game in Lincoln, Nebraska after a Nebraska receiver runs out of bounds, then runs back in bounds, catches a touchdown pass. Clear as day. Runs his ass out, runs back in, catches it, touchdown. And what did I hear from Michigan fans? You know, a lot of them who also root for the Detroit Lions. Get over it, Sparty. Get over it, Sparty. Maybe if you're not in that position, the referees can't screw you. Get over it, Sparty. Well, you know what I'm going to say to you, Lion fans? Get over it. I'm going to say to you the same thing I said to Michigan fans who won't stop whining about that damn game in Columbus. Get over it. You put yourself in that position. You make your own breaks. You get up and get out of it. That's what Detroit's about. Getting up off its ass and fighting back. Not this whiny, punk ass, oh, they're out to get us. They're taking us down. If you haven't noticed, I love my city enough to call it out. And even though they pissed me off, I will go back to what I said a few weeks ago. I'd give anything to see the Lions in a Super Bowl. I'd prefer that Jim Caldwell not be there when they do it. And they're about to pay Matthew Stafford a crazily stupid amount of money to be their franchise quarterback for the rest of his career, even though he likely won't win a damn thing. I sure as hell want to see this franchise actually do something in my lifetime. I don't want it to be like the Chicago Cubs, where an entire lifetime's worth of people comes and goes without ever seeing it happen. But for God's sake, get it together. And Lions fans, as I close this show out, do better. Expect better. Demand more. 9-7 and just getting in ain't good enough. Especially when you were 9-4 and had it on cruise control. Demand more. If you're gonna climb up Wayne Fontz's ass after a 10-6 season where you get into the playoffs and lose, I'm not out of bounds for demanding that you climb up Jim Caldwell's for tanking a 9-4 start. At least when the Lions got to 10-6 under Wayne Fonts, they'd win 7 consecutive games to get there. They were known for making that mad dash, that great finishing kick to the end of the season. These Lions under Caldwell sputter and fall into the damn ocean. I don't want to hear it, Lions fans. Man up. The referees ain't out to get you. The league ain't out to get you. The team just ain't that good. You earn it. You earn it. It won't be handed to you. Go get it and demand more from this damn franchise. I'm here in Philadelphia, where all they do is complain about the Eagles and how the Eagles just have treated them so wrong, despite the fact they've been to 2 Super Bowls and they made 4 conference championship games. That's what I want in Detroit. I want them to demand more. Stop giving me this, oh, well, we used to be bad, but 9-7 is so much better. How come you just can't be positive? How come you just can't hope? As I said in the first segment, and as I will close this show now, hope is not a goddamn strategy.